High Impact 102.1 FM.
Good morning, welcome to our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. It is the newspaper review where we get to analyze all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us in the studio today. 11 minutes past 7 studio time. Good morning to you. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. I do hope you're having a fine Friday morning. I call it a Friday morning because, hey, I'm always looking forward to Fridays, and I'm sure you are also looking forward to Friday. It is the last day for the newspaper review for this week, and as usual, so many things is happening throughout the week, and we get to talk about most of these things, because when we see them on the papers, we try to make them easy for you to understand. We try to analyze all of these stories so you can best understand what is happening in the country. And as usual, it's always a double thing. We come to you in double folds every morning just to give you this information on a daily basis. My name is Uche Okori, and I am not alone.
My name is Omobola De Oladipo, and this morning, as usual, we have brought to you the dailies just to make sure that you are, at the helm. You're informed. I mean, I was going to say you're at the helm of information. You are abreast of everything that is happening in the news, even if it's the weekend or it's the entry into the weekend. It doesn't matter. You need to know what's happening all around you, especially in your beloved country, Nigeria. Now, what you have to do just to be a part of the show is to tune in to our station 102.1 FM, or of course you can call us just so you can put in your own 2 cents by dialing 0700 1021 1021 or WhatsApp 0907 224 5018, and then we're live on YouTube and High Impact 102.1 FM.
Well, moving straight into it this morning, we will be starting with the Guardian newspaper, and the Guardian has, a huge picture on the papers this morning. I really do not understand this image which was used, but it's trying to sell a story about everything happening and how it's, holding our president down. All the situations he has to solve, from insecurity to power to inflation to poverty, corruption, so many things happening at the same time. But the big story is Tinubu's foreign missions, how Nigeria's internal crisis narrow foreign policy, international repute. Tinubu's foreign missions, how Nigeria's internal crisis narrow foreign policy, international repute. This story is on page 4 and page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. So in case you want to find out what these policies are, how it affects our international reputation and all of that, you need to go look at the Guardian page 4 and page 5 for Friday morning, so you can get all of the details that you need this morning. And underneath that big picture, we see October 1, FG orders low-key anniversary, cites national hardship. FG orders low-key anniversary, cites national hardship. That story is on page 7. Looking forward to October 1st. Independence is always a good time to celebrate Nigeria. Beside that story, Jonathan debunks disappearance of $49.8 billion during his tenure. Jonathan debunks disappearance of $49.8 billion during his tenure. Underneath that story, you see stolen crude, IOC's indebtedness to FG hit $7 billion. Stolen crude, IOC's indebtedness to FG hit $7 billion. That's huge money. Man, so many things happening on the papers this morning. Underneath that one, reps decry NNPC Dangote price secrecy, wants marketers to lift fuel from refinery. That one is on page 6, and that's one story I think we're going to keep seeing every single day on the papers as long as fuel is still expensive. 1,200, that's huge. Beside that one, Ohaneze flays Southeast governors over Kanu's continued detention. Ohaneze flays Southeast governors over Kanu's continued detention. That story is on page 9. Above that one, experts warn of looming crisis as 4 trillion naira yearly wage bill sparks debt fears. Experts warn on looming crisis as 4 trillion yearly wage bill sparks debt fears. This one is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Court sentences offer bank robbery convicts to death by hanging.
Ooh.
Yeah. You remember the Offer Bank case 6 years ago? Man, huge case. 5 of them were sentenced to court yesterday. There were 6 of them actually, but the 6th person actually died in the prisons, and it happens to be a police officer who is the lead gang member of that party.
The inside guy, the main dude.
Yeah, the main
man, the
OG. the professor of the money heist.
That's a good one.
So
That's a good one.
They've been sentenced to
death by hanging.
Death by hanging.
All right. So you know. Good. Yeah. Good that there's something I want to say, but then to say it means that I might have to applaud this. So I'm on the fence with this because there's always a chance for rehabilitation, etc.,
True.
and all of that, and that's one of the reasons why we have correctional centers, so that when these individuals are put into the system, like 20 years, 40 years, whatever, for them to reform them, rehabilitate them, and whatnot. However, this is where I'm going with the conversation. If these measures is meted out to these people, how about the other people that are not carrying guns, but they are using a simple material as pen and paper, siphoning even more than these people that are carrying guns? Will this same punishment be meted out to them? Or they will be begging on their knees, saying, please. Is that what is going to happen? Because, I'd like that. It's very easy, for a common person to be, different huge punishments are given to them, blanket punishment, capital punishment or whatnot. But when it has to do with other individuals, the upper echelons, what then happens?
Those who steal with the pen, you mean?
I didn't say that. I said those who use simple tools. Don't put words in my mouth.
Okay, simple tools.
Very
the
simple, very simple tools like pen and paper. School tools,
Okay.
educational. In fact, you see, the word I should have used is educational tools.
Okay, well, that's a huge question, but the law is the law. But at the end of the day, we see these persons, yes, they use weapons, huge weapons, and they take lives. We saw what happened in the offer of robbery. They took lives. So many lives were lost. But these same persons, at the end of the day, who use the pen, one way or the other, also affect lives.
Oh, they are taking lives.
Yes,
That's
they take lives too.
because you are not pointing a gun at someone
doesn't mean you've not taken someone's life.
You have taken the medical assistance that someone should have gotten, educational assistance that someone should have gotten, food that someone should have eaten, shelter that someone should have gotten, transportation that someone should have gotten. And you see, it's not just 1, 2, or 10 lives. We're talking about millions of people have now been affected by this singular act of a set of persons. Do you understand? It is crazy.
It is. Well, it just goes to show that life is not fair.
Sometimes I dislike
It's not
that
fair.
statement when it is stated in certain situations.
But it's not
like
fair.
unfortunately life is not fair.
It is not fair.
Fingers are unequal, etc. Anyway, just go on.
It is what it is.
It is.
Yeah, but still on the Guardian, and finally on the Guardian. Oh, maybe too much. There is one. Rep push for independent candidacy ahead of 2027 poll. Reps push for independent candidacy ahead of 2027 poll. I would like to see how that pans out. Well, that's the much we can take on the Guardian this morning.
We will now take a quick look at what's happening on the Punch newspaper for this Friday morning. 70,000 naira minimum wage. Federal government begins payment. Salary rises up to 4 trillion naira. You find this on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. You know, so I saw this, and the only thing that came to mind was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, the numbers.
The numbers. About
1.2 million.
1.2 million federal workers to earn 334.9 billion naira monthly. NLC, TUC, Lord, federal government. I want it. Please calling 0700 1021 1021 if you've received yours. I'd like to actually hear it. You see, sometimes we see these things on the news, but it never really lands in people's homes and houses. I'd like to hear it from people's mouth that, oh, I received mine. Because, I mean, I was still saying the news, was it yesterday or the day before, that the allowance for the youth coppers have also
members.
increased about 77,000.
77,000.
There about. First off, lucky them.
Very lucky them.
First off, because I remember during our own time, I think it was it 18,000 or 13, or how much was that?
19.8.
Was
my time was 19.8.
Was it?
Yeah,
so
so-
I don't think mine was up to 19.8. It was very annoying, by the way. Like, cause it wasn't every parastatal, especially if there's a government parastatal, they don't really give you money. And if they're even going to give you something, the stipend was about 5,000. That was what I was receiving where I was working, and it doesn't come all the time. So you know, it was a doozy trying to hustle and live on that amount. I lived in the north, so you know, I wasn't living with my parents or anything, so I had to be living on all of the things that I was getting as a youth copper. And like Ulama, I was on my 10 toes. It was crazy. It was very crazy. But anyways, I mean, I'd like to see, you know, 0907-224-5018. Do call us. Do send us a message. Let us hear you. I want to know if, you know, you've truly received 70,000 naira, the minimum wage. This one is a very sad one. 21 children killed in Kenyan school fire. We can see that they've all been buried. We can see how sad the parents are. It's such a terrible one. This was found. You can find this page on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Above the nameplate, why my admin suspended Sanusi. Former President Goodluck Jonathan is saying something about this. Why my admin suspended Sanusi. If you're interested in that story, you can check that out. Oil companies owe government over $6 billion. Ooh. Oil companies owe government over $6 billion. NEITI, page 19 has that story. Federal government probing bandit sponsor. This is from the DHQ. Federal government's probing bandit sponsors. Then let's just go down. We'll see Kwara hails death sentence for 5 of our bank robbers. We saw that story on The Guardian too. I think that's one of the stories that'll be going around on all dailies for this morning. Bob Risky, reps commence probe. Prison controller suspended. I mean, I saw just so we can shine a bit of light onto this. I saw a particular influencer talking about, you know, this particular story, and the person first said, okay, so first of all, if all of these things truly happen, because I mean, again, it's alleged. You know, if all of these things truly happen to you, why, in the name of whatever it is that you believe in, decided to put a call through to somebody or send in a voice note to somebody just so you can be recounting your story? Are you okay?
I think there's more to it.
Of course there is more to it. Again, like I said, they said all of this is alleged, proven until guilty, isn't it? Let's keep looking, because I mean, another influencer who is popular for, you know, not necessarily, I mean, street activism, that's what I'd like to call it, you know, has been, who naturally, generally calls out almost every celebrity for whatever ill it is that they have done and all of that, and has been picked up a couple of times by police or whatnot for different reasons, came out and then exposed all of this, possibly based on information that somebody sent to him. I mean, this was the part that got very interesting when this guy called out the Falanos and they weren't having it. It wasn't funny. They weren't having it at all. And then he just immediately, you see, there's a difference between let God judge and excuse me, I am a lawyer. You had better get a lawyer because this will not be funny for you and I. Because before and here's the thing about saying things, especially to high profile people, you had better be very sure that what you're saying is the right thing. It is true and it is correct. And you see, even sometimes when what you're saying is correct, if you cannot prove it beyond reasonable doubt, it can be manipulated. Like, you need to be able to say that, you said this and this is it, not you just casting aspersions. Like, you could be taking for libel, slander, the words, the big words, coming out of the dictionary, etc. So again, I say, especially for anybody that's listening, that's a social media person and all of that, be very careful of whatever it is that you say. You had better be so sure that you know what you're saying when you're saying it and all of that. But hey, again, these are all allegations. Our fingers are crossed to see how this will turn out, how it will spin, because now, I mean, the ESCC, different people, everyone is spinning right now because it went viral on social media. Everyone is talking about it. It is on every news channel right now because, I mean, first off, it was very popular that this particular celebrity, Bobrisky, was arrested. He was put in jail for a bit and all of that, and then he came out, and then of course everybody wanted to know the inside scoop. Now here is the inside scoop, and it's not looking funny. I mean, the newspaper is saying that the reps commence probe, prison controller suspended. It means that a lot of eyes and heads will turn and roll at the same time, just so they can get to the bottom of this, because based on what this guy was saying, he was calling a lot of people out. He was really saying very deep things, and I'm like,
heads should roll if it's true. It
should roll. Yeah, of course, I agree 100%. I just feel very, very like I cannot wait to see. You see. In urban parlance, we say drama, then drum rolls. Like, I can't wait to see what the rest of the tea holds. For this story, because it does seem like a movie. Like, this happened, and you just, what? Let's just continue. You just couldn't, like, how do you? I mean,
I thought you just said let's continue.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it again. So I'm thinking about it again, and I'm like, you really
there are things you shouldn't just say.
You look,
honestly,
like you just couldn't. Like, so let's look. Yeah, please pardon me. Anyways,
you remember a conversation you asked me one time if I could share some secret with someone, and I told you there's some secret I will take to my grave, no matter what, no matter how close you are now.
Do you understand? Like, there is no justification. I mean, again, all of these things are alleged. We're just saying, in case we're just saying all of these things. And let's just say, like, you got lucky. Of course, there is no condoning of corruption, no condoning of racketeering
and
all of those things. Fraudulent activities is not condoned whatsoever. But let's look at it from the streets. Like, let's look at it on the streets.
Keep quiet and just move on.
You've said it. Afenifere demands restructuring as Senate Southwest Development Commission. Afenifere demands restructuring as Senate Southwest Development Commission. Just before we wrap up the Punch newspaper, this one says Oshiomhole congratulates Okpebholo once Obaseki probed. Oshiomhole congratulates Okpebholo once Obaseki probed. You find this on page 43. Page 43 of the Punch newspaper. And so far, so good. That is all on the Punch newspaper.
Remember, you can always be a part of this conversation if you reach us on 0700 1021 1021, or you can reach us via WhatsApp or your regular text message on 0907 224 5018. We are streaming live on YouTube at our Impact 102.1 FM. Remember to subscribe and click the notification button so you can get to know whenever we are live. Straight to the Vanguard newspaper now this morning. Alleged missing $49.8 billion. Why Sanusi had to go as CBN governor. That is according to Jonathan. A couple of writers to this story says allegation against his government cooked up. Notes audit reports. Audit reports commissioned to probe allegation cleared his government. And a couple of other writers which you need to find all of the details if you get Vanguard and look at page 5 of the paper this morning. Pictures on the front page. We have seen Tony Lumelu. We're seeing the governor-elect of Edo State, Okpebolo, with his deputy taking a picture with the president, Tinubu. They met in the State House yesterday. So many things happening on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Flawed how 5 northern states lost 141 lives in 2 months. Sad. That story is on page 8. Underneath that one, Bobrisky, FG suspends prison officers. Beside that story, Christian elders to FG, reverse fuel price hike to avert looming crisis. That one is also on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. And above the nameplate of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, why some Heritage Bank depositors are yet to be refunded, NDIC boss. Why some Heritage Bank depositors are yet to be refunded. Remember, the bank, went under a couple of months ago, and a few depositors are still not refunded yet. That's according to the NDIC boss. In case you want to know what reasons are, you need to go look at page 19. And in case you are part of them, I guess you really need to look at page 19. Underneath that one, Edopu, I'll be servant of all, ready to work with opposition. That is according to the Edo elect Governor Okpebolo. Receives certificate of return. And that story is on page 7. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning. This is Emmanuel from Ogun State.
Good morning, Emmanuel.
Yeah, thank you. Concerning Jonathan saying that money was not missed under his government, about $50 billion. But I beg to disagree with him because under his government, the people that serve him, former National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki, told you whether he shared money to PDP members. Some were given $2 billion, $3 billion, $5 billion. You see, so I'm now surprised now for Jonathan to have come out and say that no money was missing under his government. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much.
Well, you can always be a part of the conversation if you reach us on 0700 1021 1021. According to Emmanuel, he is surprised. Jonathan is denying that about 50 billion was missing from his administration. Moving on to other stories that we find on the paper this morning. This day, publisher to military, stop arresting protesters, go after kidnappers. That one is on page 32. Another story underneath it on page 10. Gagging media will stagnate democracy. That is according to Governor Oyebanji. And finally, on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, Nigeria at 64. SGF ministers defend Tinubu policies amid cabinet reshuffle end. Nigeria at 64. SGF ministers defend Tinubu's policies amid cabinet reshuffle end. That story is on page 9 and on the sports corner of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Eguavoin continues as Super Eagles head coach against Libya. That's according to the NFF, and that's the Vanguard for this morning.
Let's see what the Daily Trust says this morning. Flood displaces 82 communities in Niger. We use canoes to evacuate our families. The writer states 19 LGAs affected this year. Oof. Wow. Situation worrisome. 4 local government areas cut off in Borno. You find the story on page 4. The pictures are not funny. They don't look great. And we really hope that something is done very quickly, because the quality of the lives these people are living is nothing to write home about. I cannot imagine what they have to go through. They have nowhere to stay.
Lives will be lost.
Oh my God. They have nowhere to stay. Like, I'm looking at this, I can see a child there just trying to navigate his way through, like, properties, lives, everything. Anyway, federal government suspends prison officers over Bobrisky allegation. Page 4 has this story. Is it page 4 or page 6? I think it's page 6. Yeah, this happens to be one of the major stories on the dailies for this morning.
As it should be.
As I told you, heads will roll, things will spin. I mean, this is the just a little bit of comment. This is the good and the bad thing of social media. It's a good and the bad thing of, activism rather. It's the good, like that, people. Now, here is what I think is good, that, anybody has a voice and they can speak up and speak out for injustice. It's a very good thing. That's one thing that I like. The other thing that I don't like is the fact that anybody
Can speak.
and could, either right or wrong, unverified, can say anything. That's the other side of
And
the
can
pendulum.
lead to anything.
Can lead to anything. That is the other side of the pendulum. Anyways, hardship. Tinubu orders low-key 64th independent celebration. That's true. Next week, Tuesday, is our independence. Yay. Should we do Happy Independence in advance?
We will be here on Independence Day.
Yes, we will be. Anyways, Jonathan counters Emir Sanusi, says Nigeria did not lose $49.8 billion under his watch. Emmanuel doesn't agree, though. Page 7 has that story. 50 million Al-Majri out of school. Children roaming Nigeria's streets. Federal government says 50 million is a very big number. You see the way we call numbers in the country? It is crazy. 50 million? Wow. And what are we doing about this? Roaming the streets? Look, I don't know about 50 million, but yes, I know that these children roam the streets. That I can tell you for free. Yes, I do. I know. I don't know if it is up to 50 million, because if it is up to 50 million, what are we doing? That is
Imagine the future.
50 million. We are 200 plus in the country, and about
Our kids, 50 million of our kids who are future are not in school.
cholera kills 11 in Ebonyi. I don't even know what to say to that story. Wow. 11. You see, one of the reasons why a lot of people tune off from listening to the news is a lot of times there isn't so much joy to
It's
share.
always sad news.
There isn't so much joy to share for people, and it is disheartening. Is if you internalize it, it is depressing, especially if you're someone that's an empath, where you're always feeling for other people. May their soul rest in peace, because this is a very sad one. Tour operators suspended registration for 2025 Hajj. Offer bank robbers to die by hanging after 6-year trial. I don't know how I feel about that story, but I hope people. I mean, yeah. justice must be served. That's all I'm going to say. Justice must be served. But that is all on the Daily Trust newspaper for this morning. Like we always say, you can send us a message 0907 224 5018, 0907 224 5018, 0700 1021 1021, 0700 1021 1021 is the number to call if you want to share with us your thoughts and opinion.
Well, let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be speaking with our in-house analyst, Dr. Dayo Kayode, as we, analyze some of the stories that made front page this morning. Don't go nowhere. It is the newspaper review on your urban lifestyle station, our Impact Radio 102.1 FM.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Welcome to High Impact Studios, the place where creativity meets production perfection. Need an outstanding audio production? We deliver professional jingles, engaging voiceovers, and attention-grabbing radio promos that stand out from the crowd.
If you're in the podcasting world, we've got the ideal recording space for you. Our studio is designed to ensure pristine sound, making it the perfect place to bring your podcast to life.
But we don't stop at audio. Looking for a space to film your next big project? High Impact Studios offers customizable spaces for movie sets and video production,
giving you everything you need to create stunning visuals.
Whatever your vision, High Impact Studios is here to make it a reality.
Let's create something amazing together. The news in 102.1 seconds.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. In case you are just joining us, it is the newspaper review where we get to analyze all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us this morning. In case you just joined us, well, you've missed the first half of the show, and you are the second segment where we get to talk to our in-house analyst. He is a social-political analyst. He is in the person of Dr. Adedayo Kayode. Good morning to you, Dr. Kayode.
Yes, good morning. How are you today? Thank God it's Friday.
Good morning. I'm fine, thank you. Thank God indeed it's Friday. And so many things are happening on the papers this Friday morning. I want to start first and foremost from the side of the flood. We see the disaster which the flood has caused in Nigeria. We see the Vanguard reported that about 5 northern states has lost about 141 lives in 2 months. We also saw in the news that 82 communities are displaced in Niger. We even saw in the news that some parts of Maiduguri have been cut off. The roads that lead from Cameroon to Chad border communities have been cut off due to this flood. Now, I ask this question because from June 2023 to June 2024 this year, all the 36 states of Nigeria received 39.62 billion naira in ecological funds. And in these ecological funds, we know are meant to prevent some of these things. How do we hold our government responsible for not doing their duty? And with so much amount given to them, and we still face these issues on a daily basis, on a yearly basis, how then do we hold our government to account?
Yes, thank you for bringing up this issue. I think sometimes ago we also discussed the issue of the ecological fund on this particular platform. And I said that this ecological fund has been a kind of a pipe whereby our government have been using to siphon our commonwealth. This thing has started right from the days of, I think, Evans Aino, when he was in charge federally, and since then it has always been like that. But unfortunately, I don't know what EFCC has been doing anyway, because EFCC was created to be able to track all these people that are putting our money in their pockets. There's no doubt about it. Natural disaster is normal. But then what is the level of preparedness? Is what we are talking about here. Level of preparedness. That is, how do you mitigate against effect of natural disaster? But unfortunately, our governors that are always getting this money have been putting the money in their pockets. And nobody has been able to prosecute them. I mean, a lot of names are on my mind now, but I don't want to just mention in this one so that I don't shake table unnecessarily. You know, but the issue is when they are being given this money, people are in the know. Do we ask them questions? Those that are vulnerable to all this disaster, do they complain to the government that, listen, this didn't happen to us last year, we don't want it to happen this year, so amount of money has been given to you, what have you done with the money? Rather, they be hailing them here and there. When they do borehole that is not working, they be hailing them. No, it shouldn't be. You don't hail them for doing anything, for doing something, because that is why they are elected to be there in the first instance. Again, how many of them are written petition to the Senate?
Are you there, sir? Hello? I think we lost that particular one. But focusing on what he's talking about in terms of what is our own duty as a people to make sure that we make the government do what they are supposed to do, because at the end of the day we are being served. We get to see so many times when so many things are happening, and instead of us to call them out for whatever they've been done, they'll be like, at least they did try, they gave us borehole, at least they did try, there is a transformer now. But the truth of the matter is, those are the primary things that they were supposed to do in the first place. That is the reason why we voted them in the first place. And those were not the things that we really, really need. In as much as they are important, in as much as that, yes, we want them. But are those the things we really need? Should, getting basic water be our issue at this time? Water in 2024? For a country that has so much resources? For a country that lives in crude oil, for a country that has so much bitumen, for a country that mining is amazing in, for goodness sake, gas. We have so many things that we could use to become the most valuable country in the world. So it's really, really alarming when basic things are the things that are given to us, and they expect us to cheer and say, hey, something good is happening in the country. Water, for goodness sake, it's really, really funny. So we as a people, we need to start demanding for more. We need to start asking for more, because it's our right. It's what we deserve. It's a life that we deserve, and it's important that we demand for these things as much as we can. Well, we'll try our best to get our analyst back in the house, but the networks are not really allowing issues, so we're just going to go on. And I want to look at some of the stories that we have in the papers. We're talking about the minimum wage, the payments being made for the minimum wage, and I wanted to ask our analyst when it was going to come, but since he's not here, I'm going to now talk about it full time. And you saw the figures: 1.2 million persons. Hello, good morning.
Hello, I'm with you.
Okay, sir. Welcome back, sir, to the show. And you were talking about, the people demanding from the government the things that they need.
You see, these monies are meant for ecological intervention funds. It's known as ecological intervention funds. To what extent have you been intervening on all this? But then, are people demanding for their rights on this? No. Rather, they be seeking for mundane things like cup of rice, spaghetti, indomie, which takes them to nowhere. I think it is high time people rose demanding for their rights in terms of a natural disaster. You know, it's appalling.
Your voice is quite low, sir. You need to get closer to your phone.
I said we've seen various interventions as regards natural disaster in better climes. Response is key here. To what extent are you responding? Okay, look at this dam in Cameroon. Each time it's being opened, it's always a problem here. Are we saying we cannot plan to mitigate against the effect of this flood? We ought to have done something about this since how many years now? At least I've been hearing of this water from Cameroon dam since how many years? Over 20 years, and still we cannot intervene on it. It's appalling. Something needs to be done.
Sure.
People need to rise now. We need to start talking about hashtag end bad government in our nation.
Okay, I would like to move on quickly as we've run out of time, but it's really important because the 70,000 minimum wage is back on the news and we see that payments are beginning. But I'm bringing my questions from this angle. We see the government saying about 1.2 million federal workers and they'll be earning about 334.9 billion. That's huge numbers, 1.2 million workers. Is this the correct figure, as we know for sure that we have issues with ghost workers in the country, first and foremost? And secondly, with this new minimum wage being given, we see in the news that the government says this is an approval that has come from, July up until, this month, because I think that the bill was extended to since July and means the payment should have started since July. Is there going to be some back payments to the staff, or the month from July to up to September that has been missing? Is there going to be back payments given back to these workers or the core members who are supposed to receive this payment, or is this money just going to go under into some sort of oblivion? I can't hear you, sir. Your voice is quite low, sir.
From a different perspective in time. Are not ready to listen. And I'm talking of NLC now. I'm talking about NLC now. For years, I've been telling NLC.
Your voice is quite low, sir.
I've been talking to NLC. Stop asking for minimum wage. Ask for sustained minimum living standard. Okay, look at it. 70,000 have been approved. But look at the price of petroleum now. That is PMX. So tell me, is that sustainable again? No. But look at how much the judges are now being paid. 300% increase in their salary. Look at that of the National Assembly. Whether they pay labor or they don't pay labor, what's my business about that? They have refused to listen. And it's becoming annoying. Government has taken back more than that 70,000 naira approved for them. And what has Labour done? No, what has Labour done to that? At the time you were agreeing at 70,000 naira, what was the price of PMS? What was the tariff of electricity be provided by government? What was the tariff? These are issues, and nobody is talking. So why will government not also be talking about those workers and all that, so that they will not pay them? There is nothing that is happening in this country other than government trying to subdue people so that they will continue to be subjugated to their dictates. And they will not have that energy to be able to ask for their rights. Anytime they want to do that, they just give them peanuts. They know they will keep quiet. So whatever happens to labor and their workers is their business. Not until when they start listening to the people and then do what is right for the workers. Now look at some state governments now. They are now saying they are reducing work hours. Is that normal? No, tell me, how can a civil servant be working from home when that civil servant cannot even operate a simple laptop? When that worker don't even know how he can use his phone effectively, other than to make calls and then watch Nollywood films. No, it's appalling. It's appalling. Where are we heading to? Other countries are looking for how they can be working 24 hours. We are reducing our how many hours now? 8 hours. 8 hours a day. I mean, so how do we grow our economy? We are talking about civil servants. Even how about those people? How about those that are in the private sector? How much are they being paid? Go to some of these hotels. Go to some of these private schools. Go to some of these private companies and find out how much they are being paid. So most of them are still earning as low as 15,000. So what do you expect? And then we are talking about a reduction in the quality of education. We are talking about a lack of health facilities. Why will such not happen? People are dying, and the so-called CSO are also there, saying nothing. It is appalling. Is this the new hope that we demanded? Is that the new hope they promised to give up? I mean, people should learn how to engage government meaningfully, engage government scientifically, engage government with data. But when they are not doing that, listen, I'm doing a research presently. I will soon finish it. Even if PMS is given to us free of charge in this country will still not lose. I'm telling you that. PMS, if it is being given to us free of charge based on other derivatives, when you crack crude oil, I mean, it's still not too much. Even though I'm not asking for free PMS, but look at how much it's selling.
Well,
look at how much it's selling. How many people are trying to interrogate that? How many people? And I've been saying it. Listen, we are not supposed to be buying fuel more than 15 naira per liter in this country, especially when you go through the former policy of NNPC, which is a direct supply, direct purchase.
Okay.
Even you yourself, have you gone to Google it?
True, sir.
Have you gone to interrogate that particular policy?
True, sir. But we have to. We've run out of time, sir. I really feel your pain. I really feel your plight. But I really to appreciate you for finding time to talk to us this morning, because your insights are always welcome, Dr. Kayode. Every time you're calling, I wish there was so much time for us to continue to share your
Let
thoughts.
us borrow time. One of these days, I can If you are going to borrow time like 2 hours, I will find time to come to your studio, and then we explain to the people. People must live well. People must live well. People are dying. What's the fate of all these small children that you see on the street selling pure water inside rain? Who will buy pure water inside rain?
We'll find that time, sir. I'll do well to find the time to speak to you better, and probably something will happen sometime. Thank you so much, sir.
It's okay, thanks for having me. Enjoy your weekend, Jari.
And you too, sir. Have a good one, Dr. Kayode. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Well, that's how we call it a day on today's edition of the newspaper review right here on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. It is the Friday edition. Don't forget, tomorrow by this time, the Big Five will be in your ears. So do make sure you listen to us, because it's going to be the Big Five stories that made all the papers this week. So hey, well, I'll come your way again next week, Monday, for another exciting edition. Until then, have yourself a beautiful, beautiful weekend. My name is Uche Okorie.
Start your day with Impact as we give you positive affirmation.